We want to welcome everybody to our annual Holiday Mixer and Professional Business Developer graduation. My name is Joe McGovern. I am the president of the Business Development Guild. I also have a company called the McGovern Group. We do environmental consulting, environmental due diligence for commercial real estate transactions and merger acquisition transactions. But this is a really exciting time for us, particularly to celebrate the graduates and everyone that put all their efforts into this. So we really appreciate you guys being here. So with that, we will move forward to our slide. Quickly, our event agenda. One thing that we're pretty excited about, I mean, just looking at where we started in 2020, right? We thought we really started the year with a bang, right? In Phoenix, we had a great meeting in January, followed up by Southern California putting on their own half-day symposium. Kicked off the Denver chapter with a really fun initial meeting. So we really were excited about the year, and then the world changed in March, right? But we kept on going, and here we are. I thought we had a pretty prolific production schedule with a number of events and great content presented. And not only that, we evolved, you know, with the Denver group coming on, but each of the chapters now have local leadership with chapter presidents, which is a really big event and a huge step forward for us. So we're going to welcome our chapter leaders here in a second. Then we'll turn it over to our Masters of Ceremonies by Douglas Brown, who I think will bring a smile to everybody's faces. We're very honored to have a keynote by Joelle Hadley. This is the second time she's coming and presenting to the BD Guild. She's an expert on emotional intelligence. We'll be talking about the new resilient, which we think is really timely for 2020. And then we'll get to what we really want to honor, and that is our graduation, our PBD, Professional Business Developer Graduation Certificate, students and instructors as well. We'll close it out a little bit after that. Anybody wants to kind of share and hang out afterwards, I'll be more than happy to do that as well. So with that, what we want to do is we want to bring on our leaders from each chapter, and we want to start out with Crystal Kyle-Holtz, who is Business Development Manager for Rosendon, and she not only has stepped into the role, but she stepped in the role with gusto and is bringing a lot of unique ideas, great leadership, great enthusiasm. So with that, Crystal, can you come up on screen and share a little bit about the Phoenix chapter? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, everyone. My name is Crystal Kyle-Holtz. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to have you and our special guests to put on this event. So we're very excited to take time to recognize all of those who put in hard work for the professional business developer here locally. I don't know what else you want me to add, Joe, at least on the We have an exciting event coming up January 12th, which is going to be focused on goal setting in your personal and professional development goals as things change throughout the year in 2021. So we look forward to seeing you guys. It will be a virtual event and more to come next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one of the innovations that Crystal has brought to the table too is the coffee and chats. Right, we want to have more member engagement and community engagement and touch points with folks with different kinds of programming. So Crystal, do you want to give a quick overview of the coffee and chat concept, right?
Yeah, so on the months that we don't have bi-monthly meetings, we're looking just for a quick 30-minute to get together virtually through 2021. I think there's 4 of them scheduled for next year. We're still working on the content for them, but they're like mini panels where you have the opportunity in more of a casual setting to join me virtually and speak with a special guest about specific industry topics that are getting a lot of chatter or buzz at the moment. So more to come on those. I know I'm working with Chris and Joe to get those advertised for next year. So please keep on the lookout for it. And I look forward to meeting you guys all and getting to know everybody more personally through the coffee and chats next year.
No, that's awesome. Crystal, thanks so much for that. That's terrific.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. And then next up is, and you know what? We had a couple of possible last minute conflicts when it came to Southern California. So I wanted to see, I'm not sure if Kari is on the screen. If not, I'm just going to give a quick overview. Kari Knowles.
I'm here.
Are you? Oh, you're there. Awesome. Okay. Yes. I'm so glad that you're here. So I know that Kim did have a last second conflict that was unavoidable. But with Kari, why don't I just turn it over to you, Kari?
Thank you very much. Kari Knowles, with principal with DLR Group. I was first introduced to BD Guild from a colleague and friend of mine, Elise Puritz, and she said, you know, you got to check this out. This is just a good group that's really trying to develop not only business development leaders, but also people. And I felt that kind of hit me right where it needed to say, okay, let me check this out and see what happens. I actually was on a panel for a group to kind of start out. That's quite a big way to start out to actually be on the panel, but it worked out great, met lots of great people, and I could see the value from day one. So the one thing in Southern California that we're trying to bring in, and Kim would say it as well, we're not just developing business development leaders, but we're also developing people. People who can strategize in business, but also communicate and be relational on the personal side as well. There are more than 40 participants in the meeting. Got a little distraction here. Have been added. Make sure you're muting your phone if you're not on the speaker. So again, we're just really working on, for Southern California, developing people so that we can relate to each other, help each other out, make each other grow in that manner. What I really like about where we are in the virtual world is being able to do that same thing across platforms, across regions. Again, in the past, we would have been so isolated to each region, and the ability to talk to other people and the ability to communicate with other regions is actually making us even better. So I appreciate the opportunity to be a co-president and looking forward to our future.
That's great. Kari, you're bringing terrific leadership, and we appreciate it. You are actually also, you're one of those dual folks this year for the PBD program, an instructor of a class, and also went through the program as a student. So we appreciate you, and then the advocacy for the Guild and everything. So thank you for that. And then everyone will tip a glass to Kim. We said we would, but we bring both of you in good hands. Southern California is in good hands. So thank you.
No problem.
All right. All right. And now we're going to go to Denver. And you know what? All of this a year ago, we did not have, right? We did not have the leadership of people in the positions that they're in and taking the leadership that they're in. We did not have the Denver chapter at this point. It was, hey, let's have a meeting and see what happens. And we had a wonderful meeting. There's great energy in Denver. Kimberly Werner is with Small Giants and the president of the BD Guild Denver. The founder of Small Giants, Daniel Ferraletto, has always been a supporter and is also an instructor for the curriculum. So thank you to Small Giants and Kimberly for kind of taking the reins and bringing not only yourself and your team, but assembling a great steering committee advisory board in Denver with really a vibrant group. So Kimberly, I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, we're excited, you know, completing kind of our first year, starting off in February. And, you know, I just went through the professional business developers course. Thought it was great. And I just was so happy I had the opportunity to do it because they were being held in Phoenix. So I thought it was great, and I definitely recommend it to everyone. And then we have a program coming up in February, breaking into new local markets, the boundaries within your own market. So it should be exciting. We have some great speakers lined up for it.
You know what? And that's a great topic. I think every market has their own boundaries that are kind of invisible walls. You know, the Tucson, Phoenix world. I mean, I come from the Twin Cities where Minneapolis and St. Paul and even certain outstate communities, there's just great rivalries. So there's opportunity, but there's those invisible walls. I know Southern California has multiple markets there. So that's a great topic. So stay tuned on that. So yes, Kimberly, thank you for all the leadership. And again, your group in Denver, you guys really started off in a terrific way. Too bad I had like 3 trips to Denver planned for the year that all got pushed back. But hey, you know, we didn't stop, and looking forward to next year. Okay, with that, we are close to handing this off to our Master of Ceremonies, Douglas Brown. He's an area manager for IPSA Security Services. And what I'm going to, he also has a secondary career, and that is of a comedian, which shows he has great courage and great insight and a great sense of humor. So we're really honored and pleased that he is going to take us the rest of the way. And with that, if I could turn it over to Doug.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Okay.
Yep. Can you all hear me okay? Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, I am honored to be here. And I'm not just saying that, I really am. I never knew there was even an organization for business development people. Most organizations just want you to join so they can get you to do sponsorships and everything. So considering that there's an organization strictly geared towards the business development profession is really cool. When did they start calling it business development instead of salespeople, though? And was that around 2003, 2004? You know, because let's be honest, you know, you can be a business development manager all day, but if you ain't selling nothing, you're going to be in the unemployment line. You know, I think we can all agree on that. I really wish they'd just start calling business development what it is, you know, sign the damn contract coordinator. You know, I think that looks better on the signature box personally, but that's just me. That's just me. But good news is, and I have a theory, that if you're a salesperson, more than likely you're attractive. So congratulations, you guys aren't ugly. You know, you can give yourself a round of applause for that. And I know this for, you know, I believe this to be true. I had a good friend of mine, and he's a good guy. I mean, he's a really nice guy, but you know, he's ugly. You know, had a big old head and everything. Sure enough, he went to apply for a job, and he called me up and he was like, "Hey man, I'm really nervous about this interview I'm going to." And I'm like, "Really? What kind of job is it?" He was like, "It's a sales job." I'm like, "Ooh." Now I'm thinking in the back of my mind, you know, you're too ugly to be a salesperson. But I couldn't tell him that, you know, he's a nice guy, you know. Matter of fact, one of the reasons he was such a good friend of mine is because he was ugly, because I knew he wasn't going to take my girl from me, you know. So he called me up a couple of hours later and he was like on cloud nine. He's like, dude, I'm going to the office right now to quit my job. And I'm like, I don't, you know, think you should do that. I'm assuming the interview went well. He said, "Oh man, it was great." He said, it was like the quickest interview I've ever had. And I can tell the moment I walked into the place, they had made up their mind. And I was thinking to myself, I bet they did. I'm like, I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, dude, I really don't think you should quit your job. I don't think that's a good idea, you know. And then he was like, you know, why are you being so negative? Why can't you be more positive? I'm like, look, I am being positive, dude. I'm being positive. I just don't think you should quit one job until you're sure you have another one. You know, he was like, that's just how confident I am about it. He was like, and you don't even know, you know, you're not even in this industry. You have no insight. And I'm like, no, but I got a regular sight. You know, it's just regular down somewhere. But anyway, they asked me to be the MC for this, mainly because I'm cheap. So you got to get what you pay for. Okay. They just asked me not to curse a lot, which is really hard for me sometimes because that's just how I express myself until my 83-year-old mother heard one of my stand-ups, and boy, she went off on me. She called me up and she was like, you know, what the hell are you doing? You ain't got to be doing all that cussing up on stage. And I'm like, Mama, I'm just expressing myself. She goes, you know, I raised you better than that. Up there on that stage doing all that cussing. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. And I was like, wait a minute. Who the hell are you talking to, woman? I'm a grown man. I can say what I want to say. After she hung up the phone, you know, I said all that. I don't disrespect my mama, you know. Can't do that. But as we go through this, I am going to do my best to pronounce everybody's name correctly. Okay. But I want to warn you that I am from the South, and English is my second language, okay, because we use a different dialect down there. So if you hear me using words like finna, okay, that means that's the next person coming up. or something like britches or fritterator, those kind of things. Okay. But really quick, I just wanted to say hello to everybody. I'm going to be back shortly, but right now I want to turn it back over to Joe so that he can welcome your guys as keynote speaker. Sound good, Joe?
Right. It does. It does. Well done. Well done. So I'll go through this.
I didn't even curse a lot.
I'll be chuckling throughout. It was cracking me up. It was cracking me so much up. I said cracking me up. I couldn't even type right. But hey. Anyway, and Doug, we'll come back to you in terms of like how people can get a hold of you in a little bit here. But we are okay. Now we made it to our keynote. One thing that we like to do with all of our meetings, like I know we always love these mixers, and everyone has mixers, but we also like to bring some insight and perspective that you might not be able to get elsewhere. Really almost all of our meetings, and even if it's a mixer in graduation, it's just a good opportunity. And we have a wonderful opportunity here with Joelle, founder of the Culture Coaches and an expert on emotional intelligence. When Joelle and I were talking about this idea about what could be talked about, it's like 2020 just kind of rings true in terms of all the different emotional wear and tear that everyone really has had to go through. So she came up with a wonderful idea, and how about moving into the new year, the new resilience, right? What can EQ really do, and what does it mean for you, and how you can kind of put it to your benefit with keeping that top of mind. So anyway, with that, just like I mentioned, she was our keynote speaker in our 2019 Phoenix Symposium. So this is the second time, which we are honored that she wants to come back to our group once again. So with that, let me turn it over to Joelle Hadley. Joelle, take it away.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, it definitely feels like such an honor to be able to be asked back again. For the people in the LA area or Denver area, I gave a crash course on emotional intelligence, which is a little bit of an oxymoron, for the Phoenix group. I can't believe, I was thinking how long ago that was, Joe, and I can't believe it was 2019. So it's an honor to be back to talk to you today about the new resilience and what emotional intelligence can do for you. Let me just add a couple of details. I'm not going to be showing a PowerPoint today, and you don't even need to take furious notes. I will be sending an overview sheet of all the key concepts that I shared today. Back and drink a beer, pour a glass of wine. I poured a little champagne in honor of your graduation today. So I'm right there with you, right? COVID, you drink it about 3 or 4 instead of 5 or 6. So you don't need to take furious notes. You're welcome to jot some things down, but I will have a review sheet with with the concepts, my contact information, any books that I reference, and then also a discount code, because January 1st, I will be launching a new online product, and you all will be able to receive a 50% discount if you are interested in investing in that. So I'll give you a special discount code and let you know when I'm launching that new project. So today, and by the way, I started off my career in business development and sales, right, as Doug said. So I have a special place in my heart for people who connect people and connect opportunities, because that's what business development is about. And I joke, my husband's downstairs. I was working with a group of engineers and said that my husband's an architect and a contractor, and they said, "We're sorry, we feel really bad for you." So, but I'm actually in Telluride, Colorado right now, so I'm coming to you live from about 20 degrees. I'm not sure how warm it is in the West right now. But today we're going to talk about the new resilience and emotional intelligence, and they're both so intertwined together, because we cannot be resilient without being emotionally intelligent, and we cannot be emotionally intelligent without being resilient. So what is this idea of emotional intelligence? That's also not an oxymoron. It really is the awareness, right? Being aware, managing and motivating not only our emotions, but also the emotions of those around us. And I think this year more than ever, emotional health, mental health has been more top of mind. We've had a lot of strong and emotions. And so we need to learn to be more aware of that and manage that so that we can show up with the right emotion at the time. It's really a three-part tool, if you will. It's our mindset, it is our resiliency, and it is our ability to connect with others. We cannot influence another person unless we first connect, and we cannot connect unless we get on control. So what I'm going to share with you today are 3 key tools that will help you have a new resilience going into 2021. They're all intertwined with emotional intelligence, and they're practical tools that each of us can use every day. Now, the first thing that I want to share is that one of my mentors and models when it comes to emotional intelligence and resilience is actually a 568-year-old man. Yes, a man from the 1400s is going to teach us how to be resilient in 2020 and 2021. And his name is Leonardo da Vinci. I read a life-changing book about 10 years ago called How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci. And what I learned from him was that being multifaceted and multidimensional is a survival skill. We can't just define ourselves by one role, one company, or even one industry sometimes. And so learning to be open to the many roles that we have, he's a perfect model. He was an artist, an engineer, a scientist, an inventor, an actor. And the other thing that he says is that you have to have, I'm quoting him, confusion endurance. You have to make friends with the unknown. You have to embrace ambiguity and stay poised in the face of uncertainty. And I just love that. Those words are so powerful. So step number 1 is learning from a man who lived so many years ago that rings true today. So when it comes to resilience, resilience actually is the ability to quickly recover from a setback or a difficulty. So it's actually our speed of recovery. And what I mean by recovery is, can I get past this emotion, this physical aspect, so that I can move forward with my goals? If you think about resilience, one word to remember is movement. We have to keep moving, right? That doesn't mean that you step back, that you don't step back and reflect and think about a different way to do things. Absolutely. But what it does, resilience keeps us moving. So if you think about that, resilience and movement. From an emotional intelligence perspective, it's about being flexible and adaptable. And the best way I can describe this is here in a mountain town where skiing is the #1 activity, right? Our goal is all the same, and that's to get to the bottom of the hill and drink a lot, right? But how we all get there is completely different. My husband does double black diamonds. I do a pretty smooth groomed blue. Because of COVID, we might all have to go down that mountain different, but the goal doesn't change. And that's what flexibility and adaptability is about. Can I take a different route down the hill in order to reach my goal? And I was telling Joe what I wanted to do about resilience is that a lot of my clients as the culture coach have been asking for tools and classes and courses on resiliency. And what's really interesting is that we're actually moving out of what we call resilience into grit, fortitude, and mental toughness, right? So resilience, certainly we still want to use that word, but resilience is more of a moment, getting over a moment in our life, getting over an event or a situation with speed in order to keep going. Well, what the pandemic has taught us is that we not only need to be resilient, we need to have grit and fortitude. And what that means is that we must forego short-term benefits. We must forego impulse control over a long period of time in order to reach a goal. And that's certainly what we've done as a society, as a world. And that's also why it's been challenging, is it's hard to keep that impulse control and those short-term benefits that we want to gain. So interchange the word resilient, grit, and fortitude, because that's actually what's happening. So when it comes to the new resilient, what I'm going to do is share 3 tools. But what we want to do is not only think about how we want to be in the future, but how we are now, what we know about goal setting in science, and I heard you're going to have a goal setting session here coming up, is that when you think about how you want to be, but you actually think about how you are right now, I am something versus I want to be, your brain is automatically going to help you become that if you already say that you are that way. So you're gonna repeat after me. We have all of our microphones off, and that's okay. But I want you to repeat after me. I am the new resilient. Fantastic. I am the new resilient. So the first tool in having the new resilience that we need is being mentally strong, right? We have to have that mental strength. So repeat after me. I am mentally strong. And what mental strength really means, folks, it's really about the voice inside of our head. How are we talking to ourselves? What are we saying? What kind of language are we using? And how do we define the setbacks and the disappointments that we're facing? So first and foremost, we have to be aware of what I call the awfulizing and the catastrophizing, right? We are negatively hardwired for protection. So one little piece of information makes our mind tend to naturally go to the worst place. Just be aware of when you're thinking negative thoughts that might not be true and learn how to manage those. And did you know that we have about 60,000 conscious thoughts per day? And of those conscious thoughts, only 5% of the time we are actually in the present moment. Only 5%. So most of the time we aren't where we need to be on that project, in that conversation, in that meeting. 95% of the time we're somewhere else. So paying attention is a skill that we need to develop in order to be mentally strong. Now, the other piece of information that I want to share is some research from psychologist Martin Seligman, and he wrote a great book called Learned Optimism. And he said, anytime we have a setback in our lives, we have what he calls an explanatory style. How are we explaining this setback or this difficulty to ourselves? And he calls it the 3 Ps of self-explanatory style. First is the permanence factor. When we are pessimistic and not resilient, we tend to think things are going to last longer than they actually do, or that they're going to last forever or not change. So part of being resilient is to say to yourself, hey, this is a season. Now I know this season has lasted longer than I thought, but it's still only a season, and we know the way it is now won't last forever. So really manage that permanence language. The second piece is what we call bleeding in, right? So bleeding into other things, being able to actually compartmentalize. So not letting one thing impact another. If you had a tough meeting at 10 a.m., are you going to allow that to impact the meeting that you have at 11? If you had a tough morning at home, are you going to allow that to impact work, or vice versa, right? So allow things to be compartmentalized. And the last P is personalization. We have to learn not to take things so personally. If you're like me and you're a performer and you're accountable, we tend to put too much blame on ourselves, and then we're hard on ourselves. Just know that there are other factors at play when a disappointment or a setback happens. Sure, you got to take ownership and learn the lesson and change your game, but it's not happening to you. It's just happening. So think about how you're explaining things to yourself. And the new resilience also means that not only do we have to keep ourselves resilient, we also have to help the people around us, right? Help people with their 3 Ps and help them think positively. Now, another important factor in terms of your mental strength, and this is something that I use almost every day, is I take any challenge or any disappointment or setback and I say to myself, this is kind of good, because right? So when the pandemic happened, I make my living by physically being in front of people. So I had to pivot fairly quickly in order to put a bunch of stuff online. Now, what I said to myself was, hey, this is kind of good, because I was procrastinating doing online training programs, and the pandemic made me do it faster. So with every setback that you have, say to yourself, this is kind of good, cuz, and see the silver lining and the blessing into everything that has come from this pandemic. And the other tool is find yourself a coping mantra. Find a phrase or a quote or something from somebody that you follow as an influencer, and be sure to say that when you're thinking those awfulizing or those catastrophizing thoughts. Think of your coping mantra and say that after. And one of mine is, just do your thing, Joelle. Just do your thing and keep moving. So mental strength is part of the new resilience. The second part of the new resilience is being energy rich. So say this after me, I am energy rich. Now, I don't mean energy in terms of a light or the sun or your green LEED buildings that you're building. This is about our personal energy. So learning to manage your energy and being energy rich is a new resilience. You see, time management just isn't enough anymore, folks. We can't just keep forcing more activities into our week. We have to learn to manage our energy so that we can be more engaged in the roles that we play. So what does that mean? It means that we take 4 areas of energy: our physical, our mental, which I just talked about, our emotional, and our spiritual energy. And we do activities that give us energy versus draining the energy. And the idea with energy management, by the way, this is a book as well. It's called The Power of Full Engagement. The idea here is to think of yourself like an athlete. We are corporate athletes, except for the fact that we play 8 to 10 hours on the field, 5 to 6 days a week. We play 11 months out of 12 months is our season. And our career is not 6 to 8 years, it's actually 40 years, right? So we are incredible athletes, but we don't manage our energy in a way to show up our best selves. So what this means in terms of energy management is that stress is actually not our enemy. Stress and challenge actually helps us grow. So we want stress and challenge, but we don't want too much of it. If we have too much stress and challenge without the opposite energy of rest and recovery, that's when we burn out. That's when we don't show up our best selves. So the idea of energy management is you take those 4 energy sources, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and you constantly push yourself out of your comfort zone beyond capacity, but then you pull back and you rest. And what research shows is that we overstretch or overstress ourselves mentally and emotionally, and we don't give ourselves enough mental breaks or enough enjoyment from an emotional perspective, and we under challenge ourselves physically and spiritually, right? We just don't take care of our bodies enough or push our bodies enough. So a couple of things, I don't want to preach on the physical, but I think the pandemic more than ever has made us look in the mirror and say, how healthy am I? How immune am I? Am I super healthy? Taking care of your body is important, not only for you, but the people around you. So don't be a martyr and don't say you don't have enough time to take care of your body. Give yourself 1 hour a day. All of us deserve an hour a day to do something that makes us physically healthy. Yoga, running, hiking, riding a bike. It makes us better the next 23. When it comes to emotional energy, what we have to understand is that negative emotions, and this is the emotional intelligence part, negative emotions are very destructive. They're very powerful and very destructive. In fact, they lower our ability to think straight by 75%. So 1, we have to be aware when we're feeling a negative emotion and write it down. Share it with somebody. I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling frustrated. I'm feeling scared. When we label the emotion, we can manage it. And did you know that for every 1 negative emotional event that you have each day, you must manage that with 3 positive emotional experiences, right? So if you have a tough conversation with an employee or your boss and it creates negative energy, you've got to go watch a cat video. You've got to go call a friend that always lifts you up And you got to go look at one of those amazing sunsets that we have in California, Arizona, or Colorado, right? So for every one negative experience, we must do 3 things that bring us joy, because negative emotions are so powerful. Now, when it comes to spiritual energy, the best piece of advice I have for you, especially over this reflective time of the holidays, determine what your 2 core values are. What's important to you? How do you want to live your life? And I don't just mean at work, and I don't just mean at home. But if you just think about you as a human without any of the other roles you play, what are your core values? How will you use them to drive who you are and how you show up? How do you use them to make decisions in your life? My 2 core values are love and adventure. And so all the challenges that I've had in my own business, I've looked at it, how can I approach this with love? What kind of love do I need to share with my clients? Maybe it's giving back by being a keynote speaker with your group. And how can I look at this challenge in my business as an adventure versus a problem? So what are your 2 core values, and how can you share those more often and use those in the decisions that you make? Believe it or not, finding meaning will help you with resilience even more than finding happiness, right? So being mentally strong and learning to be energy rich. Don't be a martyr anymore. Take care of your energy and do what you need to do to feel fully alive and engaged. And the last energy tool, resilience tool, is emotional intelligence. So everybody say with me, I am emotionally intelligent, right? So what this means at the heart, it's how we manage the moments. It's how we manage especially the difficult moments. And recent research shows that our reputation as business development professionals, or as leaders, or even as parents, our reputation is defined in the most difficult moments. 83% of the time, we can handle whatever challenge is in front of us, but about 17% of the time, there are those moments that have enough pressure, enough emotion, enough risk. It's how we handle ourselves then that actually matters most for our reputation. So what do we do in those tough moments? Well, I have a tool that I want to leave with you. For those that were in the Phoenix class, you might remember this. This tool is called BA, B-A-A, right? Just like the lamb, BA. And B stands for breathe. Learn to take deep, powerful, meaningful breaths. Our breath is like an EpiPen for the brain. It calms our body and it calms our brain. And a calm brain is a creative brain. And that's how we want to show up. When I breathe, I inhale the word let, and I exhale the word go. I let it go. And if any of you have heard, I want everybody to just take your fingers and tap right here to either the left or the right of your chest in that soft area. This is actually called tapping, otherwise known as emotional freedom technique, EFT. And tapping actually taps on meridians that hold negative emotion. So you take a deep breath, you tap on your chest, and you say, let it go. And you also say the word peace. When you tell your body peace, it relaxes, it rests, and it does what it needs to do to be healthy. So breathing and letting go. B-A, A stands for appreciation. Go to your happy place. Have a screensaver in your mind of the happiest place you can go. Is it your children? Is it your pets? Is it your spouse or your partner? Is it a vacation that you went on? Is it nature? Is it a sunset or the beautiful mountains that are outside of me? When you can take your mind to that place, science shows that we lower the stress hormone cortisol, which actually is the leading cause of heart plaque, and it increases 2 helpful hormones, DHEA, which is an anti-aging, anti-stress hormone, and serotonin, which is our happy hormone. So breathe. Go to your, what I call appreciation anchor, your happy place in your mind. And then the last A stands for ask. In those moments of challenge and frustration, don't complain, ask good questions. When we ask good questions, we get the best part of our most creative brain going, right? It's called learning questions. They're open-ended and they're pretty short. Who can I call? Where can I go for help? What are our next steps? How can we fix this? How do we make this work? So short, open-ended questions, you begin to get curious, just like Leonardo da Vinci. And when we're under stress, we tend to complain. And my challenge for you, this is a good one. Can you go 1 week without making one complaint? That's my challenge for you. And when you're feeling under pressure, ask those powerful questions, get curious. Clarity is the antidote to anxiety, right? So how do we become the new resilient? It's definitely through emotional intelligence. How do we become more emotionally intelligent? We become more resilient, right? You are already resilient. Learn to build your mental strength. Learn to be energy rich for yourself and everybody around you, and learn to be emotionally intelligent and manage those moments better. I'll close by saying how we live each day is how we live our lives. So may each and every day we give birth to the best which is within us. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be your keynote speaker today.
Woo! Good job.
Thank you.
Way to go, Joelle.
Thank you, Sue, my sweet neighbor. You're the reason I'm here.
That was,
You can
I think, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Joelle?
Yeah.
I think you gave everybody a few things to A, think about, and B, work on, right? And C, improve upon. So that was terrific.
I forgot one more thing. Cheers to the graduate.
That is fantastic.
And as a reminder to everybody, I'm going to send an overview of my concepts, my contact information, the books I referenced, and your discount code for my January 1st launch.
That's wonderful. I think everyone's going to be looking forward to that. So, yay.
It's an honor. Happy holidays. Congratulations.
All right. Okay. Bye, Joelle. All right. A few things to think about. That's fabulous. Can everybody hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so now we are going to be, I'm sorry if I'm asking the same question again, but one more time. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Joelle, that was wonderful. All right, so moving on to our main event of the day, and that is our PBD graduates. We do want to give a special thank you to the instructors. Many of the instructors have been with us for each of the 4 years, and those who haven't been, everybody has actually they're all real live practicing professionals, either business development professionals or business owners, volunteering their time to advance their knowledge and their insight. So we want to give a special thank you. So I want to give a round of applause to everybody. Who else? Who did that? It was without them, this would not have happened, and it would not be the content that we have. So, all right, moving to the next. And with our presentation of the certificates, what we're going to do is bring Doug Brown back to the fold.
Hey, everybody.
All right, Doug. And then what we'll do is Doug will list out and then when each of the students come up, they'll put their video on and be presented. So with that, I'll get out of the way. And by the way, Doug, just so you know, there were a number of comments to say that they wanted you to keep going from your earlier deal. So just FYI there.
Well, I got a show.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I got a show coming up, so I do need to test out some material. But I wish Joelle was still on the line, man, because I really want to thank her. She was saying a lot of things that really hit home to me. And I mean that literally, like hit home. Like when she said you should take an hour out of your day. And I'm like, all this time, my wife has been giving me a hard time for going and hiding in the bathroom and playing games on my phone, trying to get away from her and the kids. And I didn't know this whole time I was doing that for my mental stress, which according to Joelle, I'm allowed to do. So I'm going to need her contact info because I'm sure my wife is going to want to talk to her. But I'm definitely glad that it's not me. Now, I've been trying to explain that to my wife for some years now. You know, like any other good husband, I want to get 3 stars on Angry Birds and knock out a competitive game of Candy Crush. You know, I don't think I should be judged for that. But I was funny because I was talking with Crystal the other day, and I was explaining to her, you know, that, you know, I'm a man, okay? I'm the king of my castle, you know. But what I didn't know is I don't have any power. I don't have any authority in my own home. And it turns out my wife has slowly been taking it from me over the years. I just didn't know it, you know. So like the other day, I told my wife, I said, what would you do if I left you? She said, what the hell would you do if I left you? You don't even know the Netflix password. Then it dawned on me, I didn't know the Netflix password, you know, and I was like, wait a minute, I might be the king of my castle, but I married, you know, a queen like Cersei from Game of Thrones. And I'm kind of scared. I'm gonna be honest with you. I married the evil hot chick, you know, and because I got a lot of stuff on Netflix that I saved that I just haven't had time to watch yet. And I know if we ever get divorced, she's gonna go for the house. I know her. She's gonna go for the house. I'm gonna go for the Netflix password. Because the way I see it, you can watch Netflix in an apartment. You know, it's the same Netflix. You know what I mean? It's like they got apartment Netflix. You know what I mean? So, but if I can get that in that Prime Video, but I'm telling you, Joe, man, I got like 2 more episodes of Ozark to catch up on, and I'm gonna tell her how I feel about her. But enough about me and my pathetic home life. Let's get this show started, and let's get to it with the graduates here. Everyone here, again, if I mispronounce your name, please forgive me. You know, first up we have on the list, our graduate is Vessa Roberts with East Valley Disaster Services. Is that correct? So
correct.
So Vessa, if you can, which you've already done, bring up your screen and say something nice to the people. Now, I want you to know, everybody gets 1 to 2 minutes, okay? 1 to 2 minutes, people. I have wrap it up music and I am not afraid to use it, okay? It is very intimidating rap. It's DMX, like that. So you got 1 to 2 minutes starting now.
Great. Hello, everybody. I'm Vessa Roberts, and I am the now professional business developer for East Valley Disaster Services. I have been in this position for 7 years, and I've heard about the program from a couple of different people that I know that hold my position for other companies. And I'm really glad that I took the opportunity to take the classes. I learned a ton. I found out that I'm doing a lot of things right. I'm doing some things that I could be doing better. And I learned about a lot of stuff that I didn't even know about. So I'm very grateful to Joe and all of the instructors and my other classmates. I so wish that we could have been in person. That would have been the best. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
You were close because I was about to do it. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. Hey, that's it. I'm telling you, you were about 30 seconds away. Congratulations. Please don't beat me up if you see me, Vessa. Please don't beat me up in the street. All right, now next week, our next recipient, Christopher James. You're ready to go live there? But it's Christopher James with is it WHY Architecture. Welcome, Christopher.
Doug, you see me okay? Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Yeah, I would just like to say thank you, Doug. Yeah, this program has been, I mean, I was talking to, Joe gave me a call very randomly at 8 a.m. A few days ago, and I just couldn't shut up about how good this program's been, how helpful, how instructive. Not just in learning about business development, but I think also learning some of the unspoken rules of business development. And I feel as though, having completed the program now for the first time, that I have this kind of psychic, spiritual understanding as to what my role in the office is, which is part CFO, financial advisor, part strategic manager, overseer, part HR rep, morale booster, cheerleader. But most of all, the person who makes sure that everyone knows how we're working, what we're working towards, and this kind of unofficial team leader, team builder. And that's a role that I am very excited to take forward in my career. So I just can't say enough. And if anyone has hesitations about taking the class, I would just say, just drop it, just do it.
You got this, Chris.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Thanks a lot, mainly for staying under your time limit. But I got to admit, Chris, man, I like that afro, brother. I like that afro.
Thanks.
Man, I used to have one like that back in the day before these stress started getting on me and my hairline started looking like an M up front. And I finally had to cut it all off. But I had put a Jerry curl in mine and it like laid down and everything. This is back in the 80s. I was hot. I mean, literally hot. It was like on my neck, burning me up, you know? So congratulations, Chris.
In your footsteps, Doug.
You can do better than me, brother. You can do much better than me. All right, now our next graduate coming up, hope is ready to go. Is it Dina Weiner-Whitring? Is that
You
right?
are so close. I'm so impressed.
I was close?
I have the worst name, and try and pronounce my company name.
Dick, hold on, wait a minute, I can do this. Deacon Cobb Engineers.
But you're not alone.
So that's what they should have called it. Don't blast me in front of everybody. Do you know what's wrong with you? You know what? Just for that, you have exactly 70 seconds left.
Damn, good. Oh. Am I on?
Yes. You're on.
Okay. So good job, Doug. I can't tell you, with a name like mine, when I was in grade school, every time there was a substitute teacher, I would just quake in fear until my name was pronounced. And inevitably, they mispronounced it. And when I got married, I was sure I was losing the name and decided to keep my maiden name because it builds character. And I will say, the BD Guild, I am so grateful to have taken this program. I feel like I've learned so much. The quality of the instructors, the quality of the people in the group, and quite frankly, there's no place else that I could find, and believe me, I've looked, to learn what is it to be a business developer? What do we need to know? Knowing there's so many aspects to what we do. And I thank you all so much for creating this program, and don't have my printed certificate, so I'm not sure if I have legitimately graduated or not. But thanks so much, BD Guild. What a great experience. I recommend it highly to all.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Dee. We really appreciate it. Now, you do realize you're not going to get a special gift because you said that, right? I mean, I just want to.
Darn it.
Just wanted to put that out there.
Okay.
You know, there are some rumors flying around earlier, and I just wanted to put all those.
I heard them. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, I do the jokes around here. All right. All right, our next graduate coming up is Priscilla Chavez, much easier. Priscilla Chavez with PCL. Priscilla, you're there? Priscilla, you there? Priscilla Chavez? Going once, going twice. Okay, if you, all right. We'll move on to our next.
We'll make sure.
Okay.
We'll make sure she gets the, we'll make sure Priscilla gets the proper props. I think I saw her earlier online,
Okay.
so we'll make sure she gets the props.
Sounds good, sounds good. But then that'll bring us to our next graduate, Brian Molnix, is that correct? With Catamount Constructors.
That is correct.
Brian.
Thank you very much. I owe a huge gratitude to my employer, Catamount Constructors. Thank you very much for the investment in me, in developing my craft, and then to Joe and your leadership and the team. Thanks for taking the risk on putting a program together to help us develop a craft that we're passionate about. I agree, this has challenged me in many different ways. So I encourage everybody to really look at it, take it, but I owe a huge amount of gratitude to Catamount for investing in this and allowing me to free up the time to do it. So thank you.
I like that, short and sweet, Brian. Man, I know you're knocking sales out of the park, man. You just get in and get out. I respect that, man. I respect the hell out of that.
Correct. That's the only way to go. And Joe owes me $25, so
I knew it. Knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Joe, I want at least 30. All right. All right. Oh, before I forget, because I'm really bad at this, if you guys have a pen and paper, could you please write this down? Of course, I'm going to do a plug right in the middle of all of this. But if you could, please do me a huge favor and follow me on my Facebook page, because I just started it, and right now it's pathetic. So it's a Doug Brown Comedy on Facebook, Doug Brown Comedy, and on Instagram, Doug Brown Comedy. So DOUGBROWN Comedy. I guess if you don't know how to spell Doug Brown Comedy, then you're pretty sad, but just want to make sure I put that out there. Now, our next graduate coming to the screen. Okay, here we go. It's going to be Eugene Ungerman. Is that with Elevar Design Group?
That's right.
Yes.
You got it, Doug. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know if you could see my certificate. Doesn't look like it's coming through, but it's there. Thank you. The Guild has been great. Joe, fantastic program. It's just been a great reminder for so many ways of things that we need to know, and things that we just have kind of every once in a while kind of forget. And so there's been some great things there, some great new stuff as well. As Joe and knows, and some other people may have known, that I've moved recently from the California market to start my career over again in the Ohio market. So it's been a great opportunity for me to kind of get back into the business development side of things, although I'm right now back in engineering, so I'm running an engineering program, and then looking forward in the next few months or so to start moving forward on the business development side. So it's all a new focus for me, new location, new markets, new people. So the most challenging part there is that I've left many friends in the California market. Day to day, had spent many opportunities to meet with them at different events. So the events are here now, are virtual. So they've been very challenging to make those acquaintances, but looking forward to using many of the skills and things that I've learned through the program. Thank you again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it, Eugene. All right, now, next up on the screen is going to be Kimberly Werner with a Small Giants. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to thank the instructors most of all, because they did such an amazing job. just, you know, being able to absorb some of their knowledge is a treat. And, you know, I've been doing business development for many years, but, you know, you can always learn more from, you know, other individuals. So I really appreciated that time that we got with them. So, yeah, thank you.
Wow, that's it. You guys are really afraid of public speaking, aren't you? That's okay. That's all right. Uh-oh. I was on a roll. I got the last 3 names correct. This next one here might be a little rough, but I'm gonna go for it. Okay. Coming to the screen now, we have Ellen Mayer with a Skanska. Is that right? Ellen. Now, if she's not here, it doesn't count against me. Okay. Ellen Meyer. Mayer. That's what I said. With a Skanska. All right. Okay. Ellen, you
we'll
there?
make sure she gets we'll make sure she gets the appropriate props.
Okay.
We're going through it.
I told you it's going to get a hard turnout when you don't have an open bar. I'm telling you. That's just how it works in this world. Okay, well, next we have to the screen, and I see she's already popped up there. Caitlin Gill Martin with P2S Inc. Is that right?
Good job, Doug. Yeah, that is correct. Hi, and thank you guys. And it's been great to participate in this. I know, similar to many of you, we've been doing business development for quite some time, but I'm always appreciative to find programs that really focus on this. I know that there really has been a lack of business development oriented activities and specific training programs in, at least in the Southern California region, and seen a lot of the associations turn away from that. So it's been wonderful to have a group that is specifically oriented towards us and the ability to grow. So definitely looking forward to more business development meetings and continuing to participate in this guild, but very appreciative to have gone through the program. So back to you, Doug. Hopefully that wasn't too short.
No, you're good. You're good. You had about 18 seconds, but congratulations.
Nice.
And next, coming to the screen, we have Donna Mills with, is that Channing Construction Company?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, welcome. You're on.
Yay! Can you see me?
You can.
Hold on a second. Now my phone wants to do something at the same time. So I'm really grateful to Steve Channon for allowing me this time to take the courses and to be my financier through them. And I'm grateful that Business Development Guild has put such a course together. That took a lot of effort and vision and foresight, and I really appreciate that. And especially grateful to my lab partner, Kari Knowles, who did a fabulous job in helping us, the two of us, put our final presentation together. And as a result of, the classes, but putting that final presentation together really culminated what I had learned and what I could take from it and move forward. So I thank you all for your involvement.
Well, thank you so much, Donna. Thank you so much. And I want to give you a personal thank you, Donna, because I wasn't sure how to say the next person's name, but you've already referenced her. Coming to the screen is Kari Knowles with DLR Group.
Got it wrong, brother. It's not a girl, it's a guy.
Oh, well, I knew I was pushing my luck. See, this always happens when I get cocky. Whenever I get cocky, I screw up. But I'm so sorry, dude. So sorry.
No, thank you very much. Thanks, Donna, for the shout out. It was kind of strange coming into this because I was asked to be a facilitator, an instructor at the same time as taking the classes. And it's kind of like taking advantage of the system. If you can relate, it's like licking the cookie dough bowl while you're cooking the cookies. So it was a little strange for me at first, but I must say that I learned a lot from this system. I learned a lot from the organization, from the instructors, from everybody that was around. Donna, you give me a shout out, but I actually learned a lot from you along the way as well. So thank you to everybody who helped me out to get to this end. And I am a man, not a woman. That's all I got to say.
You had to take one more parting shot, didn't you? Just couldn't let you go, could you? It was Donna's fault. It was Donna's fault.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking from someone who's fat, it is very much possible to eat cookie dough while you're making cookies. I just keep a separate bowl, okay? You just want to keep your separate bowl. Safety first, people, safety first. All right, coming to the screen next, we have Emily Minier with Independent. Is that correct?
Yes, that works.
Oh,
thank you. Good job. We did it. Let's go. I just wanted to say thank you to Sue Sylvester for being my internal champion while I was at Corgan. I was working as an admin there at the time, and I expressed interest to her in business development, and she totally took me under her wing and would meet with me weekly to talk about business development, and eventually helped push me to get into the certification program. So I just wanted to give her a shout out and say thank you to Joe and Doug and all of our instructors and everyone else who made this possible.
Thank you very much, Emily, and congratulations again. I'm not even going to try your last name again. I think I got lucky the last time.
Thank you.
And our next graduate coming to the screen right now is Ariel Eversole with Independent also. Is that correct?
Hi there. Yes, you got it right.
Cool.
So we did it. I'm super excited. Woohoo! A great program. Just like everybody else, just want to say thank you to all the instructors. I learned a ton throughout the program. I'm really happy that I decided to invest in myself and take this program. So some great takeaways, that are really practical and can be used right away. Again, thanks to instructors, to Joe, and also to Carissa for all the coordination of everything. So thank you. It's been fun.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I tell you, man, BDM would be like a dream job if I was like back in my 20s. It's just be like your boss would be like, let me get this straight. You want me to go out and just have fun and drink, and you want to call it networking. You're going to pay for the drinks, and you're going to pay for everybody else to drink. Wow. I mean, where is this job when I was at McDonald's? You know what I mean? I wasted so much of my life, man. But I just hate those sales jobs where they tell you that, you can make $250,000 a year, and you're like, oh man, that's awesome. What's my base salary? 15, So, and last and definitely not least, coming to the screen next, we have Lainey Licata with DLR Group. Is that close at least?
That's exactly correct. I don't think she's on the call, so I'll represent for her. She's in with DLR Group, and she said thank you for everybody for helping her out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. When you came back up, I was like, you already had your turn. No, you try to pull a Kanye up here. You're just going to step up and take her spot. Come on, man. That's not right. That's not right. And just to let you guys know, obviously I heard a lot of great things about you guys. I was talking with, Joe and the ladies about this for the last month. Very happy to be here. Again, in all seriousness, I didn't know that there was even an organization that was geared strictly towards the BDMs and everything that they do, because it is a difficult job. It's a difficult job. I think personally, it's a really good job when it comes to help you grow as a human being, because you have to learn to deal with so many different personalities. And Joelle made several good points when she was talking, and it actually reminded me of a poem that I used to read all the time. I love the poem. it takes some people a lifetime to learn what's in this one poem. And it's a poem called Attitude by Charles Swindoll. And one of my favorite parts of the poem is when he says, the longer I live, the more I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And it references in there how there are some things that are just inevitable. You can't control the way some people think. You can't control the way people talk or what they may do or say or whatever. The only thing you can do is play on the one string you got, and that's how you respond to them. And that is a very, very, very true statement. And it's, again, it's something a lot of people go through their whole life and never learn. But when she was talking, it reminded me of that. And being in this profession, you really have to do that a lot, because a lot of times you got some people who just can't make decisions, or some people who you just can't help. You know, you just don't have a product or a service that can benefit them. And sometimes, I can tell this from personal experience, sometimes when you're a vendor and you're trying to partner with a customer, some people, and again, this is not everybody, thank goodness, but some people, to make themselves feel inferior, sometimes they try to look down on their vendor, you know, and you just have to deal with the customer sometimes, because I always say the customer may not always be right, but they are always the customer. And I'm like, as long as you're paying your invoice, you know, you can get away with a lot of stuff, you know. But I'm very happy to be here. I would love to definitely stay in touch with all of you guys, network with you. I'm gonna put my personal info down here, my email address in the comment section. Please feel free to shoot me an email. If you want a good joke, I can send you some of that. If you're game for me practicing a little material on you before I go up on stage and embarrass myself in front of a lot of people, I could really use help with that, because I write a lot of diverse comedy that deals mainly with my life now, being married, having children, kids. I'm telling you, their comedy gold. It writes itself. It really does. But again, I'm going to put my personal info in there. I've been in the Valley for about 17, 18 years, so I know a lot of people. If there's anything I can ever do to help you or introduce you to someone or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to do it. Go out to have a quick lunch or whatever you're paying. I'm more than happy to do it, again, because a big chunk of this job is really just networking, building relationships, and just getting to know people. And at the end of the day, even if you don't make a sale, you had a good time with some good people, and that's a damn good day in my book, you know? So having said all of that sentimental stuff, I am going to turn this back over to Joe. I'm going to stay on the line, and again, I'm going to put my information down in the box. Again, Doug Brown Comedy on Facebook, Doug Brown Comedy on Instagram. I definitely appreciate the like, follows, whatever you guys want to do. If not, no hard feelings until I catch you in the street. And having said that, Joe, I turn it back over to you, my friend.
I don't think they want me back. They don't want me back. They want you to keep going.
Yes, they do. They're playing hard to get. They're playing hard to get. They want you back, my man.
Well done. Well done, Doug. I tell you what, this is awesome. And I want to say thank you to the students for your heartfelt comments. I tell you, it was, we just said, hey, you have a minute or two, what do you ever want to say? And they're just, I mean, they're music to our ears, and we really appreciate the feedback. And I know we're going to have some real good feedbacks we can improve on in the future too. So yeah, with that, yeah, well done, Doug. And you know what? I know that we did a shout out to our instructors, but for those on our instructors that are still on or with us right now, do you want to put your video on and just want to do another special thank you? Because you can see so many of the comments were really geared towards the instructors for good reason. So if you feel like putting your microphone or your video on, just to kind of give you a special shout out before we wrap things up here, more than welcome to. And if you're shy, that's okay too. All right, so here we are. So
yeah, come on, Joe. You know I'm not shy.
Hey, There you go. I was just about to say, Kari, I'm just hoping for you. I was really talking to you, Kari, to kind of lead the charge. So
apparently my name is Carrie now.
Yeah.
That's a whole different discussion. I honestly want to say the best thing about being an instructor, I actually had 2 or 3 people reach out to me personally and say, hey, I want to grow in the topic that you talked about. And we had side discussions and we actually grew together. And again, the thing about teaching, I'm actually, my bachelor's degree is in secondary education. I was a teacher first before I came into architecture and BD. The thing about teaching is you learn at the same time. If you're a good teacher, you learn at the same time. And so like Christopher, for instance, he reached out and said, hey, I want to learn more about what you talked about. And the discussion I had with him helped me grow. So I want to say thank you to everyone out there who actually reached out to me and said, hey, I want to grow with you, not just from you. And that's something that I want to make sure everybody understands. In teaching, you grow at the same time. So thank you for the opportunity to do that.
Hey, Joe, this is Jesse. I want to add something. I've been to Las Vegas with Carrie Knowles, Renaissance man. So I've learned a lot, just to let you guys know.
I've heard about a couple of those Vegas trips that will keep silent now. But I know Nicole and yeah, exactly.
Hey, Joe.
And Rebecca. Yeah, go ahead, Rebecca.
Hey, I just wanted to comment that the first couple of years when we've done the Strengths Finder session, it was me focusing on it. And this time around, Barbara Shuck joined, and I think she really added a lot to it. We're going to miss being a part of it for the next class, but I'm excited that we're going to make it a workshop that is not just part of the curriculum in the future, but a workshop for anybody. And I think Barbara and I have some good ideas on where we want to go with even a series with that. So really excited about how we can bring that added benefit to the Business Development Guild. So thank you for the opportunity.
I'll echo that. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? It's that topic, really along with all of our topics. I mean, we can really do deeper dives in so many different angles. And I think the Strength Finder just kind of like lends itself to that. So that's going to be on our calendar for next year, that like Rebecca mentioned. But I know that we have Cynthia. I know that we have Nicole. And if we have any, and I know Jana was on earlier. And so anyway, we just want to say thank you to our instructors, because that's again, these are volunteering their time, and it's no small effort. Ted Ritter as well, no small effort. Dean Howard, to do what they did, and particularly for multiple years in a row. So we're just extremely grateful. So that we are coming to the wrap-up time, right? So we're back on this. Let's see, hang on. Okay, we talked a little bit about this at our pre-networking session. Our next year, we've had live classes, we've had virtual live stream classes. Next year, we're going, the PBD is going to be a 24/7 on demand. So it will not be live streamed. And we're looking to launch that in the spring of 2021. We have a special early bird discount for that. Anyone who registers by the end of this month will save 20%. So I think it's great value. We've already had some takers on that, which we're really excited about. But this will allow people to take the classes at their own pace. And hopefully that will broaden it. And the idea is to kind of broaden it, the availability to not just the folks that can meet once a month, but to multiple folks and organizations. And again, works with the various people's schedules. So stay tuned for that. All right, we have some. I tell you what, our 2021 calendar. It was really kind of neat to see. We had Southern California, Denver, Phoenix, all within a 48-hour period. We really put some great thought together in terms of how we want to map out our content for 2021. And it's going to kick off with Phoenix. In the first quarter, we're just assuming everything is going to still be virtual. Hopefully, as the year moves on, we're going to get back to live and kind of get back to ourselves a little bit. But eventually, there'll be hybrid opportunity. There'll be hybrid meetings as well. We have a great calendar starting January 12th. That's Phoenix, and then each chapter will have a bi-monthly, every other month meeting. So Phoenix and Southern Cal will be starting in January, Denver in February, and then really our first national event. We talked about the symposium that Southern California and Phoenix did in the past. Now with the 3 chapters, the idea was presented like, you know what, why don't we bring the whole BD Guild community together and have a national event? So we're gonna have a half-day symposium, that's February 23rd. We have, each chapter will be hosting a session. So again, different topics with multiple perspectives, and we're really excited about that. We really think it's the first of its kind in a lot of ways. So stay tuned for all of these events, and they're gonna be on our website as well, and you can save the dates and register right off the bat. All right, we are going to be sending out a survey, so please take your time and be as constructively critical. We love, it's a great opportunity for us to learn and bring ideas to the table for so many of our events and our classes and our speakers come directly from these surveys. So if you do, when you do receive it, please don't hold back and please share your thoughts. And look at are we on time? Is that right? Let's see, what is it, 5:23? We are pretty much on time. I want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say thank you to Doug for bringing on in a fun, jovial way, and then Joelle Hadley, and then everybody else. So anybody want to hang out afterwards and kind of chat a little bit? I'll be glad to be with you. But with that, I just want to say thank you to the year. Thank you for your commitment to the Business Development Guild, and we look forward to continuing this into 2021.